Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. Okay, the audio should be good now. Hopefully everyone is doing well. We have a lot to cover, whether that's crypto, arguments online, more and more over again about SoFi and Hood, but this time it might actually be actionable. Okay, we have to talk about big bank earnings, tokenization, some comments that were made on some of these earnings calls, but overall, I mean, it's going to be a busy day. So hopefully everyone's buckled in. Get ready to buy and sell stock like crazy. I'm kidding. We are long-term investors here. However, I did take a nibble, and maybe at some point in this show, I'll talk about it. But I took a nibble in a new company that might be getting to a valuation that's just a little too disgustingly cheap. Even though I've talked a lot of crap about this name and I haven't been so positive about them, but at some point, you know, a working company is worth something, okay? And the market might just be giving a little bit too big of a discount to a large growing name. We can talk about that later on in the stream. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. So, first up, I want to kind of bring this towards the conversation that TJ the Wheel Deal is bringing up online, saying, I have a $10,000 bet to say that SoFi will double here faster than Hood. In fact, I'm so confident I'll give you odds my 10,000 versus your 9,000. Now, I'm not going to bet against those odds. I think, you know, it's easier for a $30 billion company to double faster than a $130 billion company, or $125 billion, or a little bit less maybe now. But I do think, like, even whenever Hood was at $150, $120 billion, whenever Hood was at $150, it definitely was at a much more scary premium, you know, being that high that early on into the cycle. Even now, it's probably quite high, but also very worth it due to their ability to execute. You know, I'm just curious though, do you guys truly believe that Hood could double faster than SoFi here? SoFi needing to go from 30 to 60 and Hood needing to go from 120 to $240 billion. Because the interesting part about investing is that it's all percent change basis, not true dollar amounts. If we were just buying, you know, straight the best companies in the world, then all of the money would go into, well, kind of actually replicates a little bit of how I've been buying lately, just into Google, Amazon, and Nvidia. But that's because they're amazing businesses. If it was purely just about the dollar amounts, though, a lot of my money would be in Apple or in Tesla or something like this, because those are also some of the biggest companies in the world. And I don't have any money in those right now. But is it worth it to trim some Hood and put it into SoFi if you believe that it's worth a double? It's got me thinking. I mean, it's definitely interesting. Now, there's that other part in my head where I don't want to try to time the market. I don't want to be, you know, the all-knowing sort of decider of that. I think Robinhood, if they continue to come out with new products, they are probably going to come out with some form of a loan platform business, come out with their own, you know, technology stack, go fully global, increase their average assets per user probably by 10x from here. So although, you know, some of that forward growth is pulled forward, it's also because they have probably one of the greatest executors and teams that we've ever seen a fintech company have. That's worth something. Okay. And I want to talk about that play that I had just made a small, like, I mean, tiny teaser position just to put it on my portfolio so I can keep an eye on it. But I want to talk about that later on, because if it continues to sell off, I think I'm going to make a very large bet in that name. Could. Cooper just said something absolutely amazing here. Don't disrupt a proven compounder. I agree with you. But SoFi is a proven compounder as well. And whenever we look at the multiples, I'm not just talking about the size of the businesses, because whenever you look at revenue, they're actually decently close. if what's it called? Devin Ryan is correct. Devin Ryan is calling for about $1.2 billion of revenue for Hood and calling for about $974 million for SoFi. So decently similar. Maybe call it 80% of what Hood is expecting to put up. But then on the other end for net income, I think he's expecting somewhere around 400 million for Hood and about 150 for SoFi. Now, there's a difference there. One is definitely larger and has grown faster to get there, but the valuations are not even remotely close. Now, maybe I should just spoil it because I'm just so excited. I think the name that I'm going to start investing in is Chime. Now, I've talked a lot of crap on Chime, ladies and gentlemen, because they came up public in the markets way overvalued, okay? Growing slower than SoFi. And since then, literally my thesis could not have been proven more correct. Chime ended up getting cut in half, if not into 2/3, like into a third of where it was. And SoFi had more than doubled. Okay, so my call to say, hey, you know what? Chime is a no-go and invest in SoFi. And Chime's going to prove that SoFi is where it should be, I personally think is definitely proven correct. However, Chime, did you guys know that this company has been going in one straight direction since essentially they've gone public? I mean, if we take a look here on the stock since they've gone public, here, let's take a look. You could have purchased them this morning, which I was not quick enough. I got them under 20, but I didn't end up buying in the $18 range. But you could have got this stock in the 18s today. 18s. Okay. Remember, this was trading at like $44 a few months ago in June. Like, I mean, this company has gotten obliterated. But how is their business done? Well, essentially, we're not seeing anything really negative on their business. They continue to grow. They are not the fastest growing fintech, but their aspirations to still get to 35% adjusted EBITDA, potentially even 40%. If you're Devin Ryan, you think, potentially 40%. Average analyst price targets, which you guys can call it for what you want, but are like 100% of the price from where they are today. There's actually maybe, especially with the run-up of pricing for stocks that we've been seeing recently, there's probably a case that you could make that premiums are getting extended and that names like Robinhood, Affirm, Upstart, SoFi, all of the great fintech names are catching a bid now. But Chime, that's maybe doing 80% as good, being less efficient, but still doing well, is not catching a bid at all. And in fact, still continuously selling off. So, yeah. Noto has had one press release in 12 months, Tanner, no innovation. Okay, well, they're coming out with crypto literally potentially as early as tomorrow. Okay, they have a thing rolling out tomorrow. They just did level 1 options. They just did instant transfers between checkings and saving, or between checkings and investing. They literally just increased the instant transfers from checkings to invest from a 50K limit per day up to 250,000 per day. And I'm talking about things that have happened like in the last week, like in the last 2 weeks, maybe. These are all very immediate changes to their business. So along with, investing in zero hash, along with, working with Lightspark. And in fact, SoFi even, where was it? They just did a meeting with Lightspark at Sync 25, which we don't have this meeting out just yet, but I did check online. Lightspark does put out these conversations. They had a Sync 24 and showed off some of their conversations back then. They're not posted right now, so I don't have this information just yet. But Anthony Noto was invited because they now are a part of UMA and use Lightspark for cross-border payments. That's not innovation, LOL. Banks have had that for years. Yeah, but what do you consider innovation? What is innovation to you? Like, is it off? Like, what does innovation mean? Is Robinhood offering a little bit more in a checking account innovation, or are they just taking a higher hit on margin? Like, I'd love to know what you consider innovation in banking. I mean, tokenizing, like they pioneered fractional shares. They were the first company ever to do that. Now he's talking about tokenizing loans. They're also bringing IPO access to retail traders. Like, they were some of the first companies in the world to do this. SoFi was, you know? So I don't really care. If you want to invest in companies that are just innovative, like, I mean, you're well suited to go invest in SMRs and quantum and space stocks and, chase the innovation. But I want stuff that's actually going to be bringing in real new revenues today. And that's what SoFi is doing. So you could say, hey, no innovation, but I don't care. I'm looking for growth. Okay. Cash Coach, crypto, AI acquisition, payments across borders, no new. Well, you're saying Cash Coach literally just rolled out. Crypto is rolling out as early as tomorrow, as to their, post that ended up coming out. They say, here, I think Tevis posted about this. Where is it? Bear with me. I didn't realize this guy tweets this freaking much. So it literally says here, join the waitlist by, November 30th, but it also says the sign-up phase starts on October 15th, 2025 at 9 a.m. That's tomorrow morning, and ends, November 30th. The entry phase starts December 1st. So crypto could be as early as December 1st here. Okay, with the sign-up phase starting tomorrow morning. So we'll see. Payments across borders with Lightspark and all that stuff is already there. They just made an investment with Zero Hash as well. And it's funny too that you say no new LPB deals in a year. So let's say this, Turtle, and you're not going to back this deal at all, but we can just do this regardless, just for the stream, just because it's recorded. Do you, yes or no, think that LPB is going to climb quarter over quarter? There's not been a new deal. We haven't seen a press release. Do you think there shouldn't be if there's no new deals, by the way? It should actually go down because the first Fortress Group deal runs off in Q2. So do you think it's going to climb quarter over quarter, yes or no? It shouldn't without a press release. That's what you're telling me. Because if it's wrong, then all you're complaining about is communication. We already know that's the problem. But that doesn't mean that the business isn't growing. You've been on this side of the argument since the company was $6 a share. You've been around a long time. You've missed out on, 4 or 5x here. I'm trying to help you out. No, I don't. It will go down. Okay. So let's hit the marker. Let's see if you're right, and we'll go from there. Okay. Tanner, Nodo's announcing stuff is coming, but then it takes months and months and months to roll out. I'm a bull and getting tired of pace of innovation, so I'm just whining. I get it. I understand as well, but to me, it's a matter of how fast the company is growing. If Devin Ryan is correct, and they are about to put up 40% year-over-year growth, okay, 40% on a strong comp, who are we to complain? You tell me. Maybe because they didn't put out a single press release while this was happening, that whenever they went from 7-day funding of personal loans to same-day funding of personal loans, no one called for the innovation there, okay? They did that on the back end. The whole, what do you call it? Smooth start, or what's it called? Fresh start, the interest-free for 9 months for student loans and personal loans before it actually kicks in. Sorry, not interest-free, principal-free, interest only, and then principal starts paying down. What do you call that? Is that innovation? But that could attract a lot more users. Maybe not me and you. We're traders, so we judge the company's innovation based off SoFi Invest. But even then, we're still going to get crypto, level one options, these sort of things here in the near term. So, yeah. But this is what shakes out, investors that are more purely focused on the story part of the stock, which I wish Noto would help out with as well. But fundamentally, which is what I, tend to lean back on, SoFi is looking unbelievable here. I mean, unbelievable. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of what they are prioritizing right now. We didn't even know the loan platform business was even a thing. So we can say, no innovation or whatever. The loan platform business came out of nowhere, and that's going to be $1 billion run rate business. They didn't even make any stink about it at all. Like, we didn't even know it was in effect. We thought we were judging a bank that had, SoFi checkings and savings and invest. And then they also give out loans to their customers and they're going to sell it on their own. And then the LPB dropped and we're like, oh my gosh, the company just changed. AI adult mode sounds salacious. It very much is. And I was not joking about adult mode, by the way. This is very real. Very real. Let's transition to that instead of me arguing to SoFi bulls about how bullish SoFi is. Because aside from Turtleneck, who's a troll here, I'm arguing to myself, preaching to the choir. Sam Altman says, we made ChatGPT pretty restrictive to make sure that we're being careful with mental health issues. We realize this makes it less useful / enjoyable to many users who had no mental health problems, but given the seriousness of the issue, we wanted to get this right. Now, we have been able to mitigate the serious mental health issues and have new tools. We are going to be able to safely relax the restrictions in most cases. In the few weeks, we are planning on putting out a new version of ChatGPT that allows people to have a personality that behaves more like what people liked about 4.0. We hope it'll be better. If you want your ChatGPT to respond in a very human-like way or use a tone or use a ton of emojis or act like a friend, ChatGPT should do that, but only if you want it to, not because we are usage maxing. However, even though they said not because we're usage maxing, they also said in December, we are rolling out age gating more fully and more fully. And as part of our treat adult users like adults principle, we are allowing even more like erotica for verified adults. That was the worst reading of that tweet I could have ever done. But you get my point. They're going to roll out an essentially an adult mode and say, hey, you know what? Create me these salacious images, video. I don't know what it's going to be used for. Talk to me like you're my girlfriend. I don't think this is going to be super good for the population, but treat adult users like adults is, I think, a fair concept. Who is OpenAI, this random business to decide what I get to see online? So I get it. It's super weird for, if we think about these large businesses as L1s for these, principal businesses to be integrating with these types of things. I don't like that much. Maybe if there was some other company that was built on ChatGPT that was, the Corn Hub version of ChatGPT, then whatever, that's going to happen one day. The fact that ChatGPT and OpenAI especially is leaning into it, along with Grok and along with all these other ones, you can definitely have some moral qualms with that. I get that completely. Yeah, and the truth is, I don't think there's ever been a need for more corn, I should say. It's very weird. It's very weird, but I do think they are doing exactly what he said he's not doing, which is usage maxing. They want to solve every problem, get into every area, and make sure that ChatGPT can do whatever you want it to do. Okay? So I wasn't kidding around whenever I said AI adult mode. That's literally what they're trying to create, and they're rolling it out in December. Yeah. In tools that I actually think are way more useful from an AI perspective is what Microsoft Excel is doing. Taking in the concepts of a spreadsheet and in letting Copilot sort of figure out the formula that you wanted it to create. Okay? All you have to do is hit equals and you can generate a formula. And that's it. That's literally it. Because it knows that you're looking for profit and it has the sales, units sold, all the cost per unit, everything, and it could just solve those equations. Now, if you guys have been watching the channel long enough, this is the porn for me. I mean, how awesome is this? Trying to be a freak in the sheets, the Google Sheets. Hopefully Gemini rolls out similar products that obviously they have been, but that work as well as just simply putting in an equal sign and not needing to use third-party apps that integrate with Gemini that, they want to charge ridiculous rates just to do exactly what Gemini has already done. You could program stuff, but I like, it built right into the platform. Love that. Okay. Certified freak. Yeah. Spreadsheets, baby. Okay, let's see. What are my thoughts on Pagaya? I don't really have too many thoughts on Pagaya. I probably should, but I feel like I've got enough fintech as it is, and I literally announced what the next fintech that I'm potentially buying, which if you guys missed, it's probably Chime. So I did take a little teaser position today. But did you guys know that you can get the stock this morning under $20 a share? Like the company's stock has gotten cut in half since going public. Cut in half. I don't think there's much to show. Maybe you can see that Chime is not being as high in the App Store rankings as they have previously. Maybe there's some third-party data that's coming out to suggest that maybe growth is slowing down, but that could also be a profitability focus more than an advertising focus. I'll have to see. I need to look at it. I took a teaser position while I look. All right. Tanner, is there any fintech that you don't own? Yeah, Pagaya. And even then, I mean, maybe I have some sort of position through SoFi. No, I'm kidding. There's a lot. I don't own Rocket. I don't own Upstart, Pagaya. I mean, probably most. Affirm, Klarna. Most fintechs I do not own. But haven't met anyone who uses Chimes. Christian, that's because you're rich, brother. I can hear it in your voice. So Chime is usually... So this is another thing that's very interesting about fintech and what's very hard for people to realize. Like the Cash App people don't realize that the Venmo people exist, and the Venmo people don't realize the Cash App people exist. It's because if you actually lay them out, like the app downloads and the addresses to the locations that they were downloaded at, they're like geographically located. So it's like Venmo is all on the east side through Florida and New York and, all the way up Maine and everything. And then what's it called? Cash App is a little bit into Texas and then all the way through California. And they kind of take both sides of the geographies. So it's very interesting how much, although they are apps that you can download and are freely used in 50 states, how much they are sort of segmented into location and into class. So Venmo chooses a much higher demographic and Cash App is more lower demographic. Chime is definitely way lower demographic. So you could say no one uses Chime, but there's probably more users using Chime than there is SoFi. So, yeah. I've never used Chime. I'm not rich. Yeah, I think it's sort of the like it's always one way, but it's not always like how do I say this? Like all Chime users are, potentially building credit, but not everyone building credit is a Chime user. Something like this. Yeah, South is Cash App for sure. Chime has 2 million users. What even remotely? It's a public company. You're just lying. If you have got caught lying right here, you're getting a 7-day ban. Just false information, liar. Okay, now let's go see if you're right or not. Let's go bring up Chime's active user base, by the way. Not just total user base, to go see if you're right. Chime. And where is active members? As of last quarter, Q2, 8.7 million monthly actives. Monthly actives, 8.7 million. In fact, they haven't had 2 million users as far back as the data goes to Q1 of 2022. They still had 4.7 million users. Banished. Be gone. Somebody get him. Okay. You go back to the gulag. Okay, next. Tanner, what's your favorite frozen pizza? Oh, gosh. That's funny. We go from Chime and what stock I'm betting on next to, hey, what's your favorite frozen pizza? What's the DiGiorno? That's the one. I was joking. Okay, you can stay. He's back. Billy said he's gone. Billy, unban him. He said he's joking. Get him back. It's Delicio. All right. Tanner, I love you. How much BM&R do you own and what's your average cost, please? I live you. I could tell you my average. I won't tell you how many shares I own. Because I said that I was going to say in the next stream and then I completely forgot. So I'll tell you my average. My average is $50.18 right now. 50.18, and that's not an adjusted cost basis, so I don't know what it would be. My brokerage doesn't tell me because I write covered calls. So on an adjusted cost basis, it might be, I don't know how much lower, but I am writing covered calls on BM&R. But also trying to add as much on the way up. Oh, and nice little report that just came out. When was this posted? Oh, sorry. No, this was yesterday. Well, we can take a look anyway. Now, Ethereum L1 transactions and active addresses hit all-time high as gas fees drop to near record lows. Yep, definitely going to die off, right? All-time highs spell Ethereum going down. No, I mean, literally, Anatoly, what is it? Is it Anatoly Yakovenko or is that someone else? Did I just say like a UFC fighter or something and I've completely forgot? I think the Solana CEO is, or the creator. Anatoly. Yakovenko, yeah. All right. So what's it called? He ended up literally saying that, with staking protocols and for proof of history, but it's a form of a staking protocol, that usage is what's going to allow for those prices to go higher. He was just on Compound and Friends. There's a really, really great episode where he was talking about Ethereum and actually giving them a lot of praise, but just saying why he thinks that his ecosystem is going to do better. But Ethereum's already chosen a winner. That's my only problem. Or sorry, Wall Street has already chosen a winner, and that winner's Ethereum. Does not mean that I think Solana is not going to continue to do well. I continue to hold every bit of Solana that I've held previously. Okay, let's see. Let's go. I have a lower average. I think like I've had a lower average for a long time. I don't think that the mission is to have a lower average. I think the mission is to continue to add and buy on the way up. So I've had a lower average, but I continue to buy even as the strength of the stock continues to improve. So the more and more Ethereum that they buy, I try to continue to buy. So I think between now and, I don't know, let's hope years from now, that my average on BMNR is going to continue to climb. Let's see. Tanner, please talk SoFi. Well, I did talk a lot about SoFi earlier on, but we were really talking about SoFi versus Hood, which I think will be an interesting concept. The idea that one company has to go from essentially $30 billion to $60 billion to double, and the other has to go from 120 to 240 billion. And then you start getting into the sizes of like Wells Fargo's and then Citi's and then Bank of America's. Like, okay, you have to continuously kick ass all the way through, growing into new verticals, new geographies, and then you need to continuously have that level of adoption the way that you have in previous verticals. But we've seen this continuously happen for Robinhood. So people continuously are more and more bullish because, they won in commission-free shares, and then they won in options, and now they're winning in crypto. And now prediction markets, like they just keep getting into new verticals and then just dominating. So to know that credit cards is coming next, banking is coming after that, what is Wall Street or even retail investors placing on the percent chance that they are actually going to win in those markets? I think they're placing very high. I said, hey, before, then left, right, away. Why would you do that? You're supposed to stay. When BM&R move? Evan, you tell me, brother. In fact, Evan, I haven't heard from you in a long time. We have not spoken in forever. You think you can give me 5 minutes? Let me send you a link. On the principle of if you still have BM&R as one of your largest holdings. If that's the case, I'd love to hear. Actually, no, I'm going to send you one anyway. I mean, Evan's a great friend of the channel. Not even of the channel. I don't even know why people say that. He's a great friend of me. I am the channel. If you got some time, join up. I'd love to hear what you're up to. Do you guys see my neck, by the way? Where is it? You see that? That was her. Raina, come here. Come here. Come here. Up. Come on. You're dying. You got to come up here. Up. Aye. She literally put her paw right on my neck, scratched me right before going live. What's up, good girl? No, it was a big scratch from her claws. She jumped up and got me right in my neck, and I was like, oh, great. But you can't even see it, and I outed myself because of this big-ass mic. Okay, let's see. Can you talk about Dlocal? I don't have too much to say about Dlocal, but I will say that I have continued to add. It's definitely growing as a percentage of my portfolio, and today was a rocking freaking day. So super excited about that. But I want to talk about BMNR, and also to help me talk about BMNR, I think that we should add the great and powerful Evan from Stock Market
Hello,
Ninja.
hello. I
How you
appreciate
doing?
you for having me.
Yeah.
Doing well.
So
You
what's
know,
up with you, man? How's everything?
honestly, it's been one or two of like the busiest weeks of my life. I texted you this. I just say yes to stuff and then I kind of like deal with the consequences after. Transparently, I don't have too much more to add in now. I was thinking, do I even want to come up here? And I was like, I know Tanner. He does not say if you are watching this, you should subscribe to the channel. If you are subscribed, you should go in and hit that bell button. If you are enjoying this content, Tanner does a bunch of this. I love this stuff. You guys should be subscribed. I figured you didn't say that, so at least I'd come up here and say that. And you got a new member. Shout out Mark. Uh,
Shout out, Mark. Well, I appreciate that, Evan, but why? Man, you always know how to promote me, eh? I appreciate it. But
like I know you don't do it enough, honestly. Like and subscribe. These live streams are great.
it's an
I
organic thing. YouTube pushes my content enough for me. I don't need to do it.
so
But
what I found live streams are really great at getting shown to people who are subscribed. But if you're not subscribed, it can be a little difficult. So if you take that chance when they're there, get them in to subscribe, be a good moment.
yeah,
But we'll move on.
um, BMNR. Okay, BMNR. What is going on with this name? Why are you buying it in the first place? I know why I'm buying it. What has gotten you so excited?
So the original play, I've been a fan of Ethereum and honestly the underlying cryptocurrency technology for a long time. Being able to transfer payments to anyone cross borders was always the one that was a little more evident just because of how high the fees are there. And for a long time, just given regulations and stuff, cryptocurrency, it's always been a yeah, that technology will be able to be used at some point for something cool for a long time. I say it's whatever illicit thing, but for the first time with this stablecoin bill, it's actually happening. And there's tokenization and there's this whole thing. And will it be Ethereum? Will it not? We're in a bull market. I'm willing to take a bet. Tom Lee's in it. We could talk about the whole thing. I was not planning on buying more. I'm already too deep in, but my cost basis is like 47.50. On Friday, it got to 48, and I was like, all right,
Everyone's got
I'm
me
too
beat,
deep
eh?
in. I need to buy a little bit more.
Everyone's got me
47
beat
to
on
like
the average cost
70.
here.
What's yours? 49? Are you in the 50s?
I'm 50-12 or something. What did I say?
What a loser.
50-18. You think that's bad? You think I'm going to lose money?
No, I think you're going to do great. So look, it's a bull market. We'll see if it can continues. If you can go to this area, I genuinely do believe in Ethereum. I like that Tom Lee, and we're not really going over our skis here. There's a better way to say that saying, but like this whole debt stuff and these different instruments scare me a little bit. If we pull back, this will get hit harder. But I really do believe that there is going to just continue to be more of these bull runs. Ooh, damn. Oh, sorry. I thought that was another donation. I was like, wow, what does blue donation mean? Shout out Paul as well above this.
Yeah, Paul.
Um,
Thank you, brother.
guy's killing it. But yeah, so I believe in Ethereum as long as I want more transparency on certain things, but people care less when stuff is going up.
Uh,
You didn't add more on Friday, I assume?
no, I added on Friday
Nice.
after hours, and then some on Monday. But, you know,
So
I'm going
what
to
was
keep
your
adding.
cost basis before this?
I think my first purchase was 45 or something along those lines, somewhere around there. And then I've just kept adding. Um, let's see here.
BMR is a wild one because there's certain circles where like
Yeah,
everyone
my
loves it.
my my
Yeah.
cost before was 45.21.
Wait, what hat are you wearing? Is that the oh, that's a cool one. Where'd
Do
you
you
get
like
that?
that one?
I like it.
Yeah, Evan
Unprompted too.
gave
It
it
was
to
on
me.
before. Pretty cool hat.
Evan gave it to me along with a really nice shirt that I think I've sported once or twice on this channel.
Was it the Granny Shots one, or was it
Yeah,
a different one?
yeah, the
Nice.
granny shots. Um,
BM&R is an interesting one because I have a lot of circles where everyone hates it. A lot of my trading ones, a lot of my other like sophisticated people conversations I have, they tell me how dumb I am.
the smart
And then I
people.
come here, yeah, and then we just have a great time. I'm gonna laugh at them at 200. We'll see. But BM&R is a battleground. It definitely is. I feel it. I don't know how you do and how the audience does.
Yeah, I think we're at the super early stages of the adoption of Ethereum, of ETH. Um, so BM&R is going to be a pretty good winner there, and I can let them do my dip purchases and let them raise the capital for me and sell their equity. Like, to me, the treasury company is almost like buying an ETF of just ETH, but they can figure out the strategy on how to find the leverage and, um, find those institutional relationships and continue to add. And all I need to do is hold, and I don't have to worry about debt or you know any costs to hold or anything along these lines. It's such an easy strategy for me. And treasury, like the treasury strategy has worked because we can follow the micro strategy story and just know that how much better that's done versus Bitcoin itself by adding constantly.
And I do wonder what the MicroStrategy long-term story is. Obviously, we know what the last 6 months has been. I think that, first, I don't know if I love the debt and stuff like there. I'm a little bit more of an Ethereum than a Bitcoin guy. I don't know if that story is quite over yet. We'll see.
Yeah,
But
and then
that is
on
definitely
top of
one that
it,
has fallen from grace a little. What were you saying?
on top of it, I can also write covered calls on my BM&R while I'm holding it. So it just allows me to be
Do you have covered calls sold right now?
not outstanding right now, just because we've taken a couple shots downward. But whenever it skyrockets up, I full port covered calls, and then yeah,
What do you
take
set? What's your
advantage.
strategy there? I've heard you talk a little bit. It's about like 2 weeks out ish. Like, are you going
Yep.
like if we're at 55, you're going to like 70, or are you going a little higher than that?
Yeah, like I do really low deltas, like 0.1 or 0.15. So really, really low. And then about 2 weeks out, and then just cycle it. But I don't like to do things. BM&R is not the same, but I don't like to do things around earnings. I don't like to do things around critical events, just in dead space, like in sort of those waiting periods. So yeah, on certain names it works, on certain names it doesn't. Like on Nubank, for example, I've got a lot of Nubank. I don't write covered calls because there's just no activity. But on the SoFis, on the Nvidias, on the BM&Rs, it's a pretty useful strategy.
Can I ask another question or two? I'm curious. I know Nvidia, when we've talked in the past, it was I know we talk a lot of SoFi, but Nvidia was the big holding. Have we made any changes to that?
Not even a little bit.
Like, I'm
Um,
excited for this event.
yeah,
BTC, they're hyping it up a little bit.
dude, I'm an
We're
insanely bullish person. So we didn't talk about this story. So I'll just bring this story up while everyone's here. During BlackRock's um, call, you probably already saw this. They had a comment about data center spend. Did you see this? You probably have already seen it. You see everything.
you know, busiest time of my life. I might have missed this one. I might hear first. I'll give you some credit. Let's see.
BlackRock Q3 2025. It's all Martin's doing here.
Arn's awesome.
But an estimated 1.5 trillion of capital is going to be needed in the next 5 years. This is in the data center space. Okay. And that's just in the core and shell of data centers. That's not including chips. The growth of cloud computing and AI are propelling this capital demand, and BlackRock for GIP is well positioned to expand our leadership. So they said there $1.5 trillion of capital is needed over the next 5 years just for the core and shell of the data centers, not including chips, the GPUs. So usually how that pans out is that for like a 1 gigawatt data center, you're roughly talking about $15 billion of, you know, all the infrastructure, land, everything, and then 35 billion towards NVIDIA chips and networking. If they are saying $1.5 trillion is going into everything else, you're talking about a 4.5 trillion, $4.7 trillion build out here, like over 5 years. How can you
That is
not
insane.
put half your portfolio into AI infrastructure? That's the way that I'm thinking. And I'm
The
thinking
mo-
about increasing that by buying names like TSM.
what about AMD? It's a very interesting market reaction today, given all this AMD, and it was Oracle today, but they've been getting some good headlines. It's nothing said that like, hey, they're replacing Nvidia. It's wow, look at the size of this opportunity. Damn, AMD might get dragged along too. Is what the vibes I've gotten so far. Be
That's
curious
the
your
vibe I'm
thoughts.
getting, but I don't like to, that's like being like, what names are in your portfolio? Do you hold like Sentinel One or anything like this?
No, no
Okay,
Sentinel One. I got some CrowdStrike.
fine. Okay, perfectly fine. It's like saying there's going to be so much uh, demand online that CrowdStrike is going to win, but even Sentinel One is going to win. It's like, to me, that doesn't sound that appealing. Like, that sounds really appealing to CrowdStrike. That sounds really appealing to NVIDIA. It doesn't sound as appealing to AMD. And whenever you look at forward PE and any valuation, even to next year, AMD looks expensive comparatively to NVIDIA. That's my only problem, is like NVIDIA's growth, which I also think on both sides, AMD and NVIDIA, analysts have their expectations too low. But if that's also the case for NVIDIA as well, I just think, man, it's such an opportunity for me to continue to hold this company through 5, 6, and $7 trillion at least. That's just how I see it.
And it makes analyst price targets are one thing. When I start to see some of these big numbers, you do some calculations. I mean, these upside price targets are like 6 trillion, 7 trillion Nvidia. There's a chance that happens within the year.
It is
A
pretty
solid
crazy.
chance. I am in 220 calls. They were leaps, but they're in January now, which I maybe have to extend out or something, but been holding them for a while.
What did you think about some of Powell's comments today? Did you get to hear anything about this? The quantitative tightening ending soon?
I thought that, listen, so the story of this Powell thing to me was more of the same. More of what we had before, no shocks coming. So there was some interesting stuff in there. All their macro guys are going to go in and get it. But my big takeaway from a stock guy was everything you thought coming into this, still the same.
Do you
So
think that we're going to get rate
cut,
cuts?
we're gonna get a cut at each meeting. I think we're
Yeah.
gonna get three, maybe it's two or three, but sorry, there's no hook. That's so three this year, so two more. I think we're gonna get one at each meeting.
Yeah,
What we drinking?
that's
Just
exactly what
coffee
is
home.
being projected right now as well. 97% for October, 93% for 2 cuts by December.
What are we drinking today? Is this
This
coffee
is
from
a
home?
green tea.
Okay. Where's
Oh,
my McDonald's or my Timmy Ho's?
um, I think I might have
Do people
taken
call
down
it that, or
I
do I
did
just
have
sound like?
McDonald's coffee, but it's gone.
Can I ask you one more question, and then you can kick me out and get back to your stream?
Sure, I think this is going to be a non-stock market related question
No,
by the
no, it
last.
is. It is. It is. It is. I'm down to chill, but I just feel bad taking over. My SoFi stopped going up in a straight line. I got in at 23. We chat's panicking. Anything like that? How we feeling on SoFi? What am I excited about?
You
Did I
are
sound weird saying Timmy Hose, by the way? Is that what you guys say? Or am I a dumb
um
American?
Timmy. Honestly, it didn't even sound that crazy. But I don't even know what we call it. Timmy Hose. Yeah, I don't know. Timmy's. Um, so going to SoFi, man, I hope and no one gets the face reveal for Evan, but I hope that if you do get to meet him in person or anything along these lines, he's a great friend to have. And seriously, give him a follow. I'm sure everyone is already following him on X because he has like 700,000 people following him. But sorry, 648.7 thousand.
700 soon. Here we go. I appreciate you, sir.
You're going to be at 650 like tonight.
been
But
climbing pretty quick. They love the get ready for the week thread.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. They help me as well, especially the newsletter. That stuff helps me. I do read that like almost every single day.
It's getting
Um,
flagged for spam, so I need to change some stuff up.
really.
Creator problems. Sorry.
Um, that said,
Okay.
for SoFi, uh, yeah, I think that people should be just excited for a general sort of blowout. Um, credit cards is going to be super interesting. The amount of customers that come online, personal loans that ever end up being signed, home loans. Like, I think that this is going
How
to be
is how is SoFi with their credit card expansion? Like I kind of coming at this from like a Robinhood angle where it's been a little slow. Is it fast for SoFi or is it a little slower as well?
so. Here's what's funny. You say Robinhood is slow, but I think
It's
that
fast.
Robinhood will have surpassed SoFi in the total amount of cards this quarter, and they just started. So honestly, Robinhood's going pretty freaking fast comparatively. But that being said, I think we're going to see a blowout. Like, I mean, potentially twice as high as their highest amount of new credit cards for SoFi. Like, they are pushing credit cards. And that was one of the big things that I picked up on big banks as well. You know, for the what's the term? Globally large systemic bank or I'm
I
missing
know what you're saying. GSAT. That
yeah,
doesn't sound
GSIB.
too
Yeah.
too far off. GSIB.
Yeah, GSIB. Globally systemic important bank, something like that. Um, However, they're sort of part of that Basel III endgame, capital requirements that they need. They're honestly, what we're seeing is just like no growth in their loans right now, almost none. Um, but in other areas, like in investment banking and in cards and debit spend and all of these things, there's so much growth there because they can grow there without affecting their leverages. So that's quite interesting to see. My feeling is that where these GSIBs cannot pick up the slack on the additional loans, you're going to see a name like SoFi just expand like crazy. And I honestly think it's just going to be a blowout across the board. Like highest level of home loans, personal loans, potentially student loans, checking accounts, investing accounts. That'll be another big one. Credit cards is going to be huge. The only thing that I think might be a disappointment again is Galileo. And in fact, we might have lost Robinhood. Just by the amount that SoFi is talking crap online, I doubt that they are clients with each other still.
No, maybe it's just for the vibes. Robinhood threw a jab. Sometimes you just like to go back and forth. But I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. At least
So
you
I
can
have a
get on a
question.
wait list for Robinhood's credit card. SoFi's credit card, they just deny you.
Really?
Yeah, Brad can't even get on. Brad's been asking for a SoFi credit card for 2 years. They won't give him one.
So funny enough, back in the day, I got rejected for an Apple credit card. I just went and was like, "All right, I don't want to deal with this," and just paid for an Amex, and they just kind of gave it to me.
There you
They
go.
just forced me towards the old ones.
Which one did you get?
I went with the gold, just
Yeah.
back in the day. I don't know. I like the idea of a lounge.
There you go. There you go. MX is a
Um,
good company. They're growing in for youth customers and everything. So
and honestly, this whole stablecoin wave, it might change the industry a lot, but the winner I think is going to be significantly more profitable and be allowed to have lower fees and more transaction volume. Probably is going to be a big winner, and there's a good chance that is at Amex and Visa, probably just winning more. Would be my guess. I like mega caps, so just one more quick question. SoFi, do you ever obviously banks report earnings first? Does it ever track towards like regional banks or big banks, or like is there any insights you get from looking at these earnings towards how that one will go later in the season, or like where do the first comps sort of come up?
um it used to be Lending Club and stuff would be like the first serious ones that we would start to see. The big banks obviously are tells, but sometimes they're so large and they play in such different areas that it's hard to, you know, get too much information or insight from them. But then it was like the Lending Clubs. But now I think SoFi actually reports before Lending Clubs. So they're actually kind of the first trigger that you see before an upstart, before lending club before Pagaya. So SoFi is kind of leading the way a little bit there. But you see it even from, BlackRock and JP Morgan. Like, you're starting to see just how well on the investment side, how much money they did. That gives us some insight into what SoFi's invest platform is going to be like. It's going to be a blowout across the board for brokerages, I feel. So yeah, small stuff right now, but SoFi kind of leads for the companies that are in the personal loan space, student loan space, which is really their bread and butter. Hopefully that answered your question.
Perfect. Answered it very well. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. I will let you go, but let's do something soon.
Now I got one more thing to say again. If you are in here, and like I said earlier, if you're not subscribed, you are subscribed and you haven't hit that bell button, it will improve your experience. You'll become a smarter person. You'll definitely laugh more. I can't promise the smarter person, but channel's great. You should subscribe. Have a great one, everyone. I appreciate you.
That's fair. This is an entertainment show. It feels like sometimes. Arguing with people in the chat that are just here to troll. Cactus Jack says, Apple's Home Hub slated for 2025. Tabletop robot due in 2027. Apple is teaming up with BYD on assembly of devices in Vietnam. Apple to begin building new home devices in Vietnam, marking further shift away from China. Apple's Home Hub? I don't know Apple well enough. Is that just more Internet of Things solutions? Tabletop robot due in 2027? Okay. Apple has to be doing something. They have so much cash. It's true, but yeah. I don't know. You should ask the Apple questions to Evan. He's a Apple super fan. By the way, holy crap. I hope Amit is here. I don't know if he is. Can we get an Amit check? So I was at Canadian Thanksgiving, which was last weekend. That was Thanksgiving for us, was last weekend. And I was talking with somebody like a cousin of mine's husband or whatever, which I think is, maybe my cousin-in-law or whatever. But anyway, he had a Google Pixel and he said, I just switched away from Apple. Everything in my entire house is Apple, but I wanted to try the Google because Apple just was not doing anything for years. So literally, clip this, please. Amit, you're wrong. You wanted me to go find that person. I found them. Okay. There are people that will not put up with zero change at Apple. Okay. I will die on this hill. Amit went running around the Robinhood Summit, mainframe 2025 event, asking everyone if they would switch away from Apple to go to an Android. You found one guy. I'm not actively seeking. Okay, but you know what? If you guys have a presence on Reddit or some sort of public forum to ask that question, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's not 0%. Okay. And if every time Google's products continue to get better and better and they invest more into a flagship product, the software gets infinitely better. Google has always had the smartest device. Okay. That one guy is going to multiply. Just saying here. Did Amit ever pitch you on Grab? No, not yet. I will switch if Apple does not innovate. That's fair. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Do you track Figma? No. No, I'm sure Figma is going to do great. I think they have a great product, and but I don't follow the stock. Okay. Let's continue on here. So like I said, every single brokerage is going to do so well. And even BlackRock, at the size that they are today, just dominated. Not only in some of their comments as well, but just like assets under custody. Even Fiscal AI ended up posting this. Just skyrocketed and has been skyrocketing over the last 2 quarters. I think that whenever you talk about a name like Robinhood, and we can talk about SoFi versus Robinhood and all these things, Robinhood inherently is going to do so well because the amount of activity in Q3 was off the charts. And Q4 is seemingly holding that same sort of idea. The sheer volume and everything this quarter is just nuts. So it's hard not to be super excited on the brokerage space. iOS is second nature. Yeah, it's not that one is better than the other. I feel. I think it's just a matter of preference. It's what you've gotten used to. Honestly, I love Android because it's just extremely customizable. And the idea that it's clunky or something, like it's slower, is just like, it's not even remotely true. Is Grindr going public or private? Actually, Evan posted something really funny today. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, they did. It was actually this post. I just didn't even read it. Grindr confirms buyout interest from top investors, Wall Street Journal. But then he just tags Amit in this. I love this, man. That's who was just on this channel. It's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I didn't realize that. Grindr confirms buyout interest. Not another person that you tagged. That's too funny. Does he even have a share of Grindr, or was that like an old trade that he did? I don't think he has any Grindr. Okay. Jason on Amit's channel talked Dlocal at the end, said Dlocal is the best looking chart he's seen in a while. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, I wonder if I can reach out to him and see, or maybe we can find that clip. Can anyone give me a timestamp for that, and we can listen to that? I'd love to hear what he has to say. It's TA. I don't follow TA. Please, somebody put DLO in all caps. Let me know the timestamp of the last live stream, and we'll go through that. Actually, I'm sure I can do it using these transcripts. But I do want to hear this. Is he really that bullish on it? Okay, let's see. I would love to know. Oh, was it part of his rapid fire? Maybe it was part of his rapid fire. That might take a little while to go through. Yeah, you guys might need to tell me the time on that. It's in the last 5 minutes, is what you said. Right at the end. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I've been adding well, not a super ton, but I have been adding Dlocal for sure. It's growing as a percentage of my portfolio. Let's have a listen. Amit, this is some sort of stream inside a stream.
Other one, Dlocal.
Yeah, this one got an upgrade, a little bit of a breakout. Latin America payments, 1 year time frame almost.
Not just LATAM payments, they're global payments. Going to be growing in Africa, Asia, but in LATAM as well.
Oh, that does not look bad at all.
What? That's a good sign.
It's probably one of the better looking charts I've seen in a long time, dude.
I think upgrade was to 19 today that I got.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. The upgrade.
I think their management is actually pretty strong. I'm looking deeper into this company, but I don't think it's too crazy to think they get a
Pedro, the CEO, is a new, is an old Mercado Libre CFO.
good earnings, get re-rated.
I have exactly that to 20s. From so weird charts 2095. I got a 1774 session gap. Yeah, so I mean, and then let me see if I have this extension. I mean, I have this all lines up. It 18. Yeah, I mean, this lines up all kinds of different ways to that same just under 19.
Well, you gotta love confirmation bias, right? Do you like Mercado Libre? I also like Mercado Libre as well. Zimbabwe also growing in Zimbabwe. So whenever I said Africa, that wasn't enough for you. Huh.
Can this pull back? It can. So a pullback here would be into 14s. And then you look for that to kind of start to grind higher.
Well, every bit of this company that I've acquired has been in the 14s and even in the 13s. So, hey, if I got to wait a little longer, you guys know I'm in for it.
You don't want to see it lose 1350. Like if I were to go.
All right, deal. If it loses 1350, that's just purely TA. So we'll see. Contract to cars launch in 90 days. Okay, wait. Data-driven investing just posted something. We used to take years now. What used to take years now happens in weeks. We took a major hospitality brand from contract to card launch, not cars launch, Chris, in under 90 days. That speed changes the entire calculation. When you can test a financial product in the time it used to take to write the requirements, experimentation explodes. And when speed is combined with the technology super cycles of artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency, it feels like we're finally moving at the speed customers expect. Understood. Yeah. Customers want to move fast, right? If Galileo can be there for their customers' needs, maybe we start growing on a third angle, which, by the way, I have not even covered in a very long time. A lot of the bullishness for me on SoFi is just their existing financial services business, lending being a part of that as well. And obviously, the segments are broken down differently, but I just mean literally financial products, not the tech products. The tech, if it ever does start to climb and build up much faster, would just be an absolute cherry on top. Noto just made a post. If that has anything different than what I just read, yeah, he did not make a post. Unless he did a reply. No. Okay. All right. Block and Grubhub partner to scale restaurant operations and enhance consumer payment experience. Don't care. Nubank and Uber announced partnership with free Uber One memberships for customers. Gotta love it. Nubank is going to be such a freaking giant. I cannot stop being bullish about Nubank. So yes, I hold a lot of fintechs. I'm aware of that. It's just such an easy industry for me. I just feel like I can find the winners and the losers, and that's just easy to see. And finance is going to be such a large industry, and everyone that I'm seeing is promoting purchasing financials, and even the S&P is increasing the amount of financials that's in their index. So I'm just on all accounts, still super bullish on fintech, bullish on SoFi, Robinhood, Nubank, payment names like Shift4, like Dlocal. Probably missed a couple. I'd have to check. Noto just posted that Robinhood users have room temperature IQ. There's not a chance. I just checked. His last post was an APY thing. Yeah, and then he replied to somebody about being a part of the Navy or something. I don't hold Adyen right now. I love Adyen, but it's an expensive stock. I think they're going to do well forever, though. Yeah, ban that guy. Ban that guy. Yeah. Freaking soybeans. So what do the soybeans have to do with SoFi? What do the soybeans? We saw BlackRock. We saw all of the banks just report insane investment activity, consumer investment activity. Soybeans are going to run this market out. Like, let's get real. How many times is the market going to get scared and, distracted by these essentially taco tweets? What about Chime? Fred, you got to go back to the beginning of the stream. That's essentially what I said. I'm going to start building out a position in Chime. I just bought a, very tiny teaser position because I don't think Chime deserves to be under $20 a share. Reddit, earnings monster right now. I think you could be absolutely correct. And I think it probably would be appropriate to sell some. Okay, well, hold on. Let me say this. I think that it's an advantage, an inherent advantage to own the customer. Okay. Some of these tech names, which, investors can say it's actually an inherent advantage to not own the customer because then you're not biased by your advertising products that you're also trying to sell. I don't know. Amazon seems to be doing well. Google seems to be doing well. But AppLovin in the trade desk, I just wonder if I should just get away from any of those names and just buy the names that own the customers, the Googles, the Amazons, the Reddits, and that's where the world's going. Because that's fed me very well in the past. And Facebook, by the way. And banking is very much that same way as well. They own the customer. It's such an inherent advantage. So, yeah. That's all. Why buy Chime when you can buy more SoFi? I think that, I think a similar bet, that's tough, man. Things can be, okay, refresh. ADHD's got to chill. Let me restart. Robinhood is the best performing fintech historically, past 12 months, let's say 24 months. They're doing exceptionally well at putting out new products, finding adoption, and keeping up high margins. That's not an opinion. You could just see that in the numbers. Okay. Maybe they keep that up, but is it possible for their stock to double? Yes. Is it hard to go from 120 billion to 240 billion? Yes. SoFi is also, you could say, expensive compared to banking peers, but not nearly as expensive to some of their fintech peers. Okay. So, pricier, but not nearly as pricey as Robinhood. You're still getting a lot of growth, a lot of margin, but maybe not as hyper as the Robinhood. Chime is sort of the third level. Potentially the slowest, potentially the worst margins, but by far the cheapest. but you're not buying slop. That's the thing. They still are putting out a lot of products. They are fully technology based. They've got huge margin potential. Adjusted margins long term are expected to grow to 35-40%. They want to be GAAP profitable very soon. And when that happens, will the market be comfortable with them at $20 a share? I don't know. I mean, you look at Wall Street, I think, has like an average price on Chime that's like 80 or 100% higher than where we are today. And usually they're not that bullish on these types of names. Yeah, their average price on Chime is $36, 77% higher than where we are today. Yeah. And then let's also check. Yeah. Yeah, that new thing that came in for Dlocal was $19. Okay. Tanner, can you do me a favor? Can you add your face and make it public on the Sora app? No. Tanner, I'm excited for the AMD deep dive. It's going to be more of like a deep dive is going to, that would be an aggressive term. Hard to do a deep dive in a 30 or 45 minute video, but yeah, we're going to be showing off AMD. But then in the next breath, I'm also like, okay, should I talk about AMD because you guys want me to talk about AMD, or should I talk about a Chime because that's what I want to talk about? And that's the hard part. Like, Chime's what I'm looking into. So should I do that? It's Chime with an I. The ticker symbol has a Y, but the company is with an I. So like that and that. That's their ticker symbol, and then that's the name of the company. Your conviction has made me a lot of money. You should be yourself. Do Chime, no one's covering it. I mean, that's fair. Like it is such a brand new name. And that's also hard too, because like you look at Fiscal AI and the data that they have on this name is just so few points because it's just such a brand new name. So that's the only thing that sucks about covering a new name. Okay. Okay, let's see. Everyone's already talking about AMD. That's true, but yeah. What do you use for due diligence? Alex, boy, oh boy, did you set me up for success here. I use Fiscal AI. I use Seeking Alpha for news sometimes. I read some articles written by people on there, like Stephen Fiorillo. Use a lot of X. I use Fiscal AI for a lot of my actual creating the charts and doing that sort of stuff. Probably missed something in there, but yeah. Dude, now I really need to download Fiscal AI. It's not much of a download thing as it is but yeah. I seriously, like, I'm sure of the people who also use Fiscal AI, let yourself be known if you guys are in the chat. I'm sure you guys use it multiple times a day for news, for doing any earnings calls. Haven't you just found yourself doing every single earnings call and everything? It updates immediately. Like whenever I woke up this morning, I didn't go to JP Morgan's press release and go find it. It was just all the numbers were already here. It was already plugged in. All the segments and KPIs are already in for September, like this quarter, you're going to see that like in the morning. It updates like in like 2 minutes. And then whenever you go to investor relations, the quarter's right here. The report is here. All the slides are here. Obviously, you can look at it a little bit more officially, but yeah. Anyway, my promoting's done, but I really do only partner with companies that I absolutely love. And if I can, if everything goes well and Fiscal AI just keeps putting out the products that I want them to put out, there probably will not be another company that I partner with going forward. Like, we'll have to see. And Fiscal AI does have a free trial, and you can sign up at fiscalai/future, which they gave me my own little thing. Okay. What LLM do you guys use? I literally just saw Gen X nurse say I use Copilot. That's the first time I've ever heard that. When McDonald's partnership? Yeah, no, I did say that. I said if McDonald's did, no, I wouldn't do that. Not McDonald's. Starbucks or something, maybe, if they wanted to give me free coffee. And then Herman Miller. I would do a Herman Miller ad. Which is a chair company, by the way. Would you invest in Fiscal AI if they became public? I mean, it like OpenAI or like any company, it would depend on their financials. But do I think that Fiscal AI really does like truly have the potential to be the next Bloomberg? 100%. Extremely young and hungry company. And even in private markets, I would love to have an allocation to Fiscal AI. They recently just did a funding round raise or whatever. I think they're on like a Series B. They just raised like 11 million or something. Like, they're still super new. But yeah. Fighters Destiny WD4. Didn't you donate WD-40 to the thing and it's doing terribly in the portfolio? Herman Miller chairs are like $1,300. Yeah, I mean, they could be really expensive. That's not even too bad, but I think some of them are also more expensive. But I need a new chair. I'm aware of it, but I also don't. It doesn't bother me. It just bothers my girlfriend and some people online. You could give us insider information on Fiscal AI. There's no insider information. I'm not even an insider. I have a chair sponsor. That's insane. Okay, let's see what other stock names are happening right now. Walmart announces a partnership with OpenAI to let customers shop directly through ChatGPT using a new instant checkout feature. Users will be able to buy directly from Walmart and Sam's Club just by chatting with AI. Yep, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Partnerships like that are going to happen with Amazon, are going to happen, continuously, even more with Shopify. That's going to be a big part in the way people shop. It's going to get repetitive, guys. I mean, this is okay. We have to think. We have to sit down one day and do almost like a pros and cons list of the industries that will benefit from artificial intelligence and the ones that are going to get hurt by artificial intelligence. Is e-commerce going to benefit or get hurt by artificial intelligence? If we are buying physical products online, maybe software, if you're talking about e-commerce, stuff like this for software, maybe some of that is going to get disrupted with artificial intelligence because the cost to create new content is going to skyrocket lower. Okay? That's true. But physical products being sent to my house, like the amount that my girlfriend spends on Amazon and packages showing up multiple times a day to my front door, that's only going to benefit through AI. I sent you the chair sponsor. It better say Herman Miller. What the heck is this? That's a funky looking chair. Got to be real with you, Evan. Okay. Let's see. AI is not with critical thinking. We still have to do it. I don't really know what that means. AI is definitely going to do some critical thinking. I think AI is going to be a lot smarter than humans are. There's AI models today, the basic general ChatGPT 5 that's smarter than like a lot of people that I know. Not you guys, of course. Maybe Turtleneck in the chat. But yeah. How will payment companies benefit from artificial intelligence? Better KYC, better fraud detection, potentially, well, more crypto on the side of helping with speeds and stuff like this. But fraud will be a big thing. Understanding what's a real payment, what's a fake payment. Still like 15 to 20% of payments that end up going through are still falsely denied and blocked. Rufus rhymes with doofus. So true. Have you guys used Rufus? Does anybody use Amazon's Rufus? I don't think I've used it. Why would I buy through another LLM when I could just go through Walmart? It's not that you would go from looking on Walmart to then go to ChatGPT to buy your thing from Walmart. It would be that you're typing and you're saying, like someone posed the question a second ago, and I would type in, I'm having back pain. And then the chatbot, potentially ChatGPT, says, you know, what do you do for work? Do you sit down all day? Yeah, I do. Well, maybe it could be your chair. Do you want me to shop for chairs for you? Only if they're on sale. Okay, here are all the on sale chairs. This being from Shopify, this being from Walmart, this being from Amazon, whatever you like. We know that you have an Amazon Prime subscription, so take into account that we could also apply these coupons here and here, whatever. Like, and then you go, yeah, I mean, I like this chair, and then maybe it's from Walmart. It's not that you're already on Walmart. It's that potentially they could pose a question that gets you to purchase. Find me a Herman Miller chair. Yeah, and then eventually it gets around to selling. But you'll there's also going to be stuff like in the future, which is already being worked on, where you say, hey, I like that, or you know, find me a solution to this problem. Okay, these are the chairs that we want. Okay, can you sort by only gray chairs because it matches the painting on the walls? By the way, I like these specifications and lumbar support or whatever. Or you tell me what I should be looking for. Find me the best solution for that. Okay, this chair has a 5-star rating. Okay, order it. Done. That's it. Like, AI will have your card information. It can end up going through to those websites and eventually making that purchase for you. And I think later stage AI, it won't even need to have direct relationships between, you know, ChatGPT and Walmart. It'll just be able to surf the web. Joe says no. Joe, do you know how much searching or how much purchases already go through like Google? And Google's like not even helping you understand what you want. Now imagine a tool that actually is having natural language communication with you and knows what you want. You know, there's going to be a lot of commerce, and potentially could even get to, I honestly think that this could be the case, like a heavy majority of purchases are through originally a ChatGPT or LLM inquiry. That's going to be the case. Okay, let's see. Kuzia massage chair. Usually these things, if I haven't heard of it already, maybe I'm missing out. But most time, oh, okay, this is just a yeah, no, sorry. I thought you were talking about an office chair with something to like massage my back. Usually those are gimmicks. If I ever see like a chair that has just like way too many bells and whistles and I've never heard of the company once, I honestly just think the thing's going to slowly break down within 2 months. That's what you think, and Rufus is so bad, you get mad at it. Yeah, okay, so one, that's a homegrown LLM, if I'm not mistaken. It's not ChatGPT, it's not Gemini, they're not even in the running. Okay. That's like compare that to Microsoft Copilot or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok. Those are the names that, and by the way, they're at the worst levels that they'll be today. They're only going to get better. MGM withdrew interest for a New York casino that was basically a sure thing because of how bad the business landscape is in New York City. Interesting. I heard about that. The New York City casino. They're backing out, eh? Ugh. Hey, Tanner, what's your thoughts in decentralized finance? Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't have a great take on decentralized finance. I don't think it's going anywhere, but I don't know what percentage of finance will be centralized versus decentralized. If it's going to grow as a total percentage of market share, if regular people are going to just, make transactions with each other without some intermediary. I'm not sure. I got a very hard time thinking about like DAOs and all of these things that just separate themselves from people and just run essentially a playbook or a rule book. I find it hard to think about. Amazon can just add reverting, you said, in their LLM. Yep. But that would still be a chatbot doing that. I'm not anti Amazon being the winner here. But it's also about getting, like, are you going to do your work on the Amazon LLM? It's like saying, oh, Google now allows you to have a Google Map and Google Shopping and Google this and that. And then people go, oh, yeah, well, Microsoft Bing's going to just do everything that Google does, and then they're going to win. It's like just saying that they're going to be able to do that doesn't mean that it's going to be up to the quality that people want it at. And ChatGPT is so much at an advantage of being the first one through the door, having an exceptional team, having the best product. It is not easily replicable. Okay. So this whole idea of like, oh, well, once this company does it, then they're no longer going to be needed. It's like, dude, look to Google as being an example of how people, like, it's hard to factor in quality and how people feel about a product. That's very important. ChatGPT is clearly loved by the high majority of people. And Google will obviously be a winner as well, because Gemini is just going to be google.com. And Gemini is honestly a great feel as well. Um, let's see. Australian Oilseeds Holdings up 200 and what? That's too funny. COT. Up 46%. And then, yeah, that's crazy. Okay, wait. I'll put this up on my screen in a second. Up 238% in the after hours. It's actually like ruining the UI because the percentage is too high. 27 $million market cap. It's going to open tomorrow. Probably closer to 100 million. And that was after spiking up a lot today. If you see, this was trading at 65 cents today and then closed the day out at 96.50 and now trading at $3.27. J. Kim, thank you for pointing that out. That's hilarious. What do you think about OpenAI being a competitor to Meta? I don't know. I think to some degree all of the Mag 7, well, not all of the Mag 7s, but like all of those social media or social adjacent businesses compete a little bit, but they'll find their niches. Like X competes with Facebook and Reddit and all of these things, but like they kind of serve different purposes. It's not the same product ripped and repeated. Maybe Threads and X, like that is the same exact business, but yeah. What are your thoughts on Moomoo? I'm indifferent about Moomoo. I've just gotten used to it, and I like the UI on stream, but I don't, use them for my own brokerage right now. No, you cannot put it in the community fund, the oil seeds. Okay. So with ETH, it seems like the crypto channels keep expecting crypto winter to start any moment. Do you think institutional investments will stave it off? I mean, I don't give much credit to crypto winter. I'm not a big TA guy. I think that utilization in ETH is just going to continue to, that's what's going to drive the price. And if I'm wrong and crypto winter is still once again this cycle that just creates itself, then I'll buy a lot more. I'll be an insane buyer. I'll trim things to buy Ethereum because I think it'll be one of the biggest plays going forward. But yeah. Hey, all and Tanner, are you able to add timeline? That way it's easier for me to go back and rewatch. Chapters, yes. I figured out an AI solution to my chapters problem. So I'm all good on the chapters now, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have chapters. But that'll be after the stream ends. You can ask Alexa to add, make purchases, and so forth. What OpenAI announced isn't groundbreaking. So I'm aware that there are certain products that you're able to ask Alexa to purchase and stuff, but that's still only on Amazon. What I think is great about the Googles and the Facebooks of the world or like these sort of things is that they are impartial to the shopping experience. And OpenAI will be impartial. They'll allow you to shop across Shopify, shop across Etsy, shop across Walmart, eventually Amazon, and you can get the product that you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be from Amazon. And that's important for certain brands that don't want to deal with a certain centralized, marketplace. Yeah, now you got everyone calling me Timeline Tanner. Let's see what else is going on in the markets, ladies and gentlemen. This was an interesting piece of news. The buy the dip strategy has rarely ever been so strong. In 2025, the S&P 500 had averaged 2.3% 1 week, following a one-day drop of at least -2%. The strongest performance since 2019. Outside of 2019, this marks the best year since 1983. This is also only the third year with a return above +2% over the last 43 years. This is also only the third year with a return above 2% over the last 43 years. Okay, I understand. Since 2008, there has been only 2 years with this strategy that was unprofitable, 2022 and 2023. Volatility remains a trader's best opportunity. Here's the thing, though. I don't have to be a trader. I can invest in companies that benefit off people being traders, like Robinhood. I don't have to trade Robinhood. The volatility gives Robinhood real profits that add to my buy and hold strategy. So I don't have to play that market. I don't have to play that way. What is going on? Trumponomics, Soy Mageddon. That's hilarious. NVIDIA gets no respect is the truest statement that I've heard. How do you feel about TSM earnings? I don't feel too much about it. I think that, the semi names will be extremely good, and that I will be, I'll be a buyer. You think I should buy TSM before or after earnings? You think I should take a little position in TSM before earnings? Gil says, I'm still bearish. Quantum burn me. Who could donate to my short fund? Gil, you got to watch out for shorts, man. What did I tell you? Before. I know that's what you guys want me to say. You can do a cash secured put. Yeah. That could be the way to go, right? Let's see here. So we talked about BlackRock and the data center thing potentially being, calling for a $4.5 trillion build out of data centers. If that's the case, I mean, TSM before earnings, after earnings, doesn't matter. That's a buy. Same thing with NVIDIA, same thing with every single company that's a part of it. Of the actual infrastructure, which I like, super buys, ASML, TSM, all of those, Micron. Let's see what else. Sam Altman says, ChatGPT Codex is so good and it's going to get so amazing. I'm having a hard time imagining what creating software at the end of 2026 is going to look like. That's crazy. Imagine what the cost to create things is going forward on a creative side, on software side. You can't imagine what creating software at the end of 2026. We're not talking 2030. We're not talking 2035. 2026. And it's unimaginable to see what coding is going to be like using, essentially a coding assistant. Why so bullish on BM&R? I got to ask ChatGPT to explain it like I'm 5. I don't think you need to do that. I mean, you're essentially allowing a team to have leverage and buy at opportunities like buy dips and use their equity to their advantage to acquire as much Ethereum as possible. So if you're asking me why I'm bullish on BM&R, that's one thing. If you're asking me why I'm bullish on Ethereum, that's a completely different question. If you understand why I'm bullish on Ethereum, then BM&R is a much easier case to sort of sell you, because not sell you, but sell you for the argument here. Because if they hold a lot of Ethereum, and I think Ethereum is going to go up, then their book value is going to skyrocket. You know? Tanner, did you see what Tom Lee said about JP Morgan becoming a tech company if on a blockchain? No. Are you talking about the October thing, or are you talking about the Fundstrat meeting? Both being in the last couple of days. I tagged you on X, Tanner. Okay. Okay, we'll watch this then.
If I took JP Morgan, for instance, and this is something we've written about at Fundstrat, that they are operating and supported by 313,000 employees, but a JP Morgan built on the blockchain might only need 20,000 employees and operate with far greater clarity and vision and efficiency. So JP Morgan may end up being, especially using AI, more of a tech company. They're replacing humans with tech spend and using the blockchain for finality and security. And the multiples of banks should change, going from trading at price to tangible book to actually having a PE multiple. And Kathy Wood has pointed this out. That's exactly what happened with Costco and Walmart, that they used to be traded like typical consumer staples, 15 to 16 times earnings. But because they essentially systematize their business, Walmart and Costco trade 35 to 50 times forward earnings. That's a higher PE multiple than NVIDIA, which trades at 30 times.
I mean, I'm definitely bullish, and I think a lot of people are on the financials trade. I think that AI, especially, let alone crypto, but they are at the intersect of both of them, are going to be huge beneficiaries to those businesses because of the manual task cutouts and the speed up of payments. And the other thing that I would say, because of instant settlement, okay, so let me sort of lay this out. And I don't know who is the largest beneficiary here, if it is a JP Morgan or if it's more closely related to a Morgan Sachs, Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley. But the idea of instant settlement, a lot of the money transfer problems, because these companies just transfer so much money all at the same time, that because they have to wait potentially 2 days just to get their money to end up settling, or even 1 day, that's actually a large cost to their business. That's essentially opportunity cost, because they could go out and, put that money back to work. And so crypto is a way for them to settle much faster, much cheaper, allowing for much more high frequency trading and these sort of things. So I'm also very curious to see what that means for these types of financial companies. What AI does to cutting out potentially, hundreds of thousands of manual work employees, or turning those manual work employees into higher producing workforce. So overall, I am playing financials. I'm just playing it through a more tech-focused landscape. But I'm not saying that, Jamie Dimon doesn't see the problem. He obviously does. But he also doesn't care about the consumer space. And I think that that's huge. It's very easy for me to understand it as well. So Robinhood, SoFi, and now potentially Chime and Nubank I've had for a while. But yeah. Bought my first BMNR shares today. Congratulations. Don't let me make you, get into that name. I'm not doing it to, involve you or anything. I'm just doing it for my, I hope that you have your own reasons, If you're looking to me to make sure that you understand that case, and well, as long as Tanner gets it and he says it's a good idea, then I'm perfectly fine. The day that he says it's not a good idea, I'm going to sell out. If that is what you guys are thinking, it's not good. It's not a good idea. You can't have borrowed conviction, because then, as the ripples or shakes of any business, which always have, every company has them, if BMNR starts to have them, and let's say I'm not live that day or whatever, you're going to panic sell and potentially lose money on what could still be a good trade. So buy what you know. Do the due diligence into potentially what you don't know until you do know it. But yeah. Tanner, love the show. Listen most every night, but I can't watch real-time speed. Has to be 2x speed or higher. Okay, Steve, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. And bye. No, I'm kidding. I couldn't even begin to think about what 2x looks like here. Amit borrows conviction all the time. He does not, man. This dude does his own DD. I mean, obviously, he can pitch the side of other investors. Like that of course is true. But you know, he makes his trades on his own thing. But you know what, now that this person said that he can't watch without listening in 2x speed, I realize that while I'm live, like my videos are more fast than my live because I'm like thinking in real time. So my words slow down. I'm like thinking about my words. And even then I'm not a good speaker. So I get it. I probably am annoying. And yet 650 of you, 660 of you guys are still here. It's unbelievable. The maniacs of investing. 2x Tanner is regular speed emit. Yeah, it's true. Who listens to emit on 2x? That's something else. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do appreciate your time. I'm going to go. I got to put out a SoFi video for tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll release it tonight. Who knows? I might get freaky on you guys. And then I probably have to put out a video on Amazon, Google, and NVIDIA and all those names for my expectations for earnings before they show off earnings. So you guys know how I'm feeling going into them. So make sure you subscribe. That was for you, Evan. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. But bye for now.